Hi, my name is AlainFitnessDoc, chiropractor. Please follow me on Twitter or YouTube at AlainFitnessDoc, A-L-A-I-N FitnessDoc. Today, I would like to talk to you about how to reactivate your rotator cuff muscles. The rotator cuff muscles are four muscles that are connected to your scapula that are attached to your humerus. They stabilize the humeral head into the shoulder joint. Now, when you injure any of those muscles, they're small muscles. Usually, all of them go along. The movement that the rotator cuff muscles do are external rotation, internal rotation, and scaption. Reactivating those rotator cuff muscles involves two things. One is getting those rotator cuff muscles to be back to their normal length. And two is activating the muscles that stabilize the scapula itself. So first, I would like to talk about how to lengthen your rotator cuff muscles. And you're going to need some equipment. The equipment you'll need is a ball. This ball is a lacrosse ball, but you could also use a tennis ball. You're going to need a TheraCane. This one has one loop and it has these little sticks here, but there's a lot of different models. Some models that have two loops, one down here and one up here, kind of looks like an S. Any of them should do. And you're going to need some kind of a band. A TheraBand, like this one, but not too firm, medium firmness, or you can use a tube, elastic tube. Okay, let's start with the TheraCane. So the rotator cuff muscles are around the scapula. There's one on top of the scapula, two in the back of the scapula, and one underneath the scapula. The one underneath the scapula, the subscapularis, is the biggest one. And through my practice, I found that a lot of times that muscle is in a spasm. So you have to try to release it. And you can use the TheraCane to release it. So the subscapular muscle is underneath the scapula. So what you have to do is find the right place. In order to find the subscapular muscle, you have to take your fingers, put it against your rib cage, and then dive directly into your armpit. So you want to make sure that you're not grabbing the pec major here or the lat. So not this and not that. Against the rib cage, and you go straight up into the armpit. So what you do is you take your TheraCane, put it across your lap, put it against your rib cage, and then lean into that subscapularis muscle. And it's going to be pretty achy if it's short and tight. Now we're doing pressure point release. So pressure point release, you push on the belly of the muscle, different places, and 30 seconds to a minute, those stretch receptors fatigue and relax. What you could also do is, if it's not relaxing within that time frame, you can add movement. So you can rotate the shoulder out and in. That essentially is creating cross friction against that pressure point and breaking up those adhesions. You're going to have to do this at several different locations underneath that, inside that subscapularis. Initially, the pain is going to be quite intense, but as you continue, you're going to feel that the intensity of the pain decreases. That way you know that it's working. It won't decrease 100% each point. That's fine. You could, as long as you're releasing a few fibers, you're doing your job. And you do that at different points. I would suggest doing 4 or 5 points on each muscle. This TheraCane could also be used for another muscle, another rotator cuff muscle that's on top of the scapula. So if you reach back here, you feel like a bone. The only bony structure back here is the spine of the scapula. So back here is my spine of the scapula. I feel the ridge right here, and on top of that bone is that muscle, supraspinatus. Now, that muscle is also covered by my upper trap. So reaching that muscle requires going through the upper trap. If you go more laterally, closer to where the spinal scapula meets the acromion process, there's a little corner there where the supraspinatus is not covered. So here, I place my theracane and I push down into it. And if it's 8E, that means that it's most likely short and it's dysfunctional. You hold it and you wait for the pain to subside. A little bit, it won't subside 100%, remember? And if it's not subsiding, what you can do is you can do that scaption motion like this to do some cross-friction massage on that muscle. And then you can move it a little bit more medially to here. That's a slightly different point. The more medial you go, the deeper, the harder you have to push because you have to go through that upper trap muscle. Now, for the back of the scapula, you can also use this theracane like this. You put it below the spine of the scapula. The spine is here, so I'm going to put the theracane now below the spine of the scapula, and you find the trigger points, the pressure points. Trigger points are the points where you push on them and the pain refers somewhere else. It might refer down the arm, or it might refer up to your neck. And pressure points are when the pain stays local. However, I find that I like using a lacrosse ball better on the back of the scapula. So on the back of the scapula, what you do is you take your ball, you put it on a flat surface, then you place the back of your shoulder on it, and then you put your body weight into it. This is a lot more intense. So for those of you who are more sensitive, you might want to use a theracane instead, but I find that using the ball, I get quicker results. So you push on those sore muscles and believe me, it hurts. And then you can also add some rotation for cross-friction massage. You wait until that trigger point or tender point reduces, and then you move it. Remember, it's going to take at least 30 seconds to a minute for each point. So don't go too fast. Repeat it several times. Do 4 or 5 points in each muscle belly. And that's the first part.